Hey everyone, welcome to today's training. While we get this thing going, please drop a what's up, hello, if you can hear me. Relevant Recruiter Group, I'm back for another training. For those of you who've been here, you know I do these every single Wednesday at 12 o'clock Pacific, unless I'm golfing with my dad like I was last week. So anyways, hopefully everyone's having a great week, off to a good start. And we're going to dive into this here in just 1 second as I let this thing get warmed up for me here. But while we're waiting, if you can go ahead and answer for me, do you actively get testimonials and reviews for yourself and your recruiting business? Just go ahead and drop testimonial or review in the comments below, so we can see what people are doing right now. If you are actually actively using this, and I'm trying to find the training. So thank you for joining me as we're getting this thing rolling. So just drop a what's up, a hello, so I know that I can hear you. And also, like I said, let me know if you're actively getting testimonials for your business. So, before we get into the meat and potatoes of this, I mean, why is it important to get testimonials? Testimonials and reviews are essentially a form of social proof, right? And in today's society, we're always looking to make sure that we get that right purchase with everything that we're doing. No matter if we're buying, something off of Amazon, or if we're buying a coaching service, if we're buying a recruiting service. We are always looking for social proof. And Nielsen survey came out and said that 92% trust recommendations from their peers, which I think we would all kind of know and believe something like that. And what else is surprising is 70% believe and trust reviews from people that they don't even know. So the question becomes, what are you doing to really leverage your reputation? Because at the end of the day, we all say that we're the best or we're really good at what we do. But it's a heck of a lot more powerful when it's coming from somebody else's mouth. And so some of the common mistakes that I see with companies is that they actually do the hard work a lot of the time. They get the review, but then it's just sitting on their website. There's no plan to actually get that review out in front of people. And if that's you right now, then there's a huge opportunity. It should be something you should be really encouraged by. If you can get the reviews, if you got the business, if you got the reputational leverage. But like I said, most of the time that review is sitting on a website, it's sitting on LinkedIn somewhere, and we're not trying to actually drive traffic to our testimonials. So what I'm going to do, kind of an overview of this training is I'm going to show you how you can get the testimonials, a couple of creative ways. And then we're going to talk about the different types of testimonials that you can get. And then we're going to talk about how you can actually share those testimonials and get more views on them. So first thing I recommend is getting reviews and testimonials should actually be a part of your process. This shouldn't be something that you're doing reactively. This should become a part of every single search and job that you work on. You should have an offboarding process, if you will, that you're trying to get a review from every single client and every single candidate that you work with. So that should be kind of the process moving forward. It should be always about getting these reviews and having a system in place. So every single time you have a job that's done, that you can go ahead and ask for the review. So that's what you want moving forward. But if you don't have that now, what you want to do is really reach out to your database of emails and send them an email and ask them if they're willing to write a testimonial for you. If you don't ask them, you'll never get them. People typically aren't, they're willing, but they're willing more when they're being asked in most cases, especially in businesses like ours, where there's not a review at a checkout, like an e-commerce business, right? So, you always want to make sure you have the ask. Now, your best clients, the people you have the best relationship, those types of relationships, that's actually where you should pick up the phone, call the person, and see if they're willing to give the testimonial. But then from there, it's really asking the good questions around the testimonial, how you help the client save time or money, or how you ultimately impacted the organization or impacted their life, if you're working it from the candidate angle. And one of the things that I really want to encourage is, especially with recruiting, sometimes we're not sure if we want to get one or the other with our content. Is it geared towards clients? Is it geared toward candidates? In this case, it's a slam dunk both. We want testimonials from both, and they're both actually can be leveraged. When clients see positive reviews from candidates, that's going to help attract more clients. When candidates see positive reviews from your prospective clients, it's all going to work hand in hand, right? People want to know that you're working with good people, that your candidates have good things to say about you, and your clients have good things to say about you. So really, at the end of each search, you typically have an opportunity for 2 testimonials, which is then, incredibly powerful for you moving forward if you're leveraging them properly. So that's kind of the basic things. You really just want to create that system so that every single time you're done with the search, you have a process in place to make sure that you're getting as much information as you possibly can. Okay. Emailing is going to be the best way for you to do this at scale. Picking up the phone and calling your best clients is going to be the best way for you to get the best reviews. And I recommend doing a little bit of both, right? But the key thing here that I really want you to grab onto is that if you have that process in place, then this is something where you're going to be getting active testimonials on an ongoing basis. It'll always be top of mind for you. So what are the different types of testimonials that you can get? Well, first and foremost, you can, get a testimonial. It can be delivered via email, or you can get a testimonial that can be delivered via text. Sometimes a testimonial doesn't have to be a complete long paragraph. Sometimes, when we're sharing our proof, it's not necessarily a complete testimonial, but I can share a screenshot of a client of mine sending me a text. Hey man, this training was so helpful, blah, 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 really, really appreciate your support. Well, that's just a way of me proving that, people are enjoying my program, if you will, right? So written testimonials, it doesn't matter where they're coming from, is obviously the most common. Where there's a ton of opportunity is with video testimonial. Now, video testimonial, as you guys are probably listening to this, can be certainly challenging, especially on the client side, to get a client of a big company to come out and kind of validate you and get on camera. That's going to happen from your best relationship. So it's not something that is going to happen often, but it's something that should be a part of your, top of mind, of getting a client to get on camera and speak their praises, because there's nothing better than video and transparency and getting somebody to know, like, and trust you. When there's just so much more power when somebody can hear it actually from their mouth. And taking a step back, when you have a written testimonial, the most powerful way to deliver that written testimonial is with an image of a person, again, for more credibility, their first, last name, and company. Now, there's some balance here. You don't need to overthink that. Let's say you can't get that. Let's say that you can't get somebody to give you their name, but they're willing to write the testimonial. Fine, just take what you can get, right? Your best is obviously, like I said, name, company, position, title, awesome picture, perfect, video, even better. But in the written world, if all I can get is like, hey, food and beverage manufacturer in the Southeast, CFO, then that's better than nothing, right? So there's always a balance with this on both the client and the candidate side. So keep that in mind. The other way that you can get testimonials is actually through interviews. So those of you that are, been a part of this Facebook community for a while, you realize that I do a lot of interviews on here. Well, the reason I'm doing that is because it's a great way for you guys to connect with people that have been through my program. And it's a testimonial. It's a review for you guys to see and experience what other people have had going through my program. So it's a really powerful way for you to be able to go and interview some of your clients about their experience working with you. Don't overthink it. You don't need a big podcast. You don't need any branding. You can just sit there and interview somebody for no reason, rhyme or reason. Or you could have the opportunity to go all in on it and do a podcast and then use some of those interviews as reviews. And then the other thing is actually one that's going to probably pop up more now is voice testimonials. And the reason I say they'll pop up more now is because of all the different technologies happening. For example, on LinkedIn, you can leave voice messages and people may drop you a quick little note that's powerful. When you get voice or video in any way, shape, or form, the cool thing about it is you have a chance to now repurpose that. Okay, you have a chance to repurpose that into written content as well. And it's really important to, again, have both. Okay, so those are kind of the 4 different ways that you can kind of collect a testimonial through written. And the written can be either email, text, and actually could be a third-party website that you're getting that from, like LinkedIn or a platform like Great Recruiters. Or, then you got video, you've got interviewing, and then you've got voice. Okay. Now, once we get the testimonial, like I said early on, the biggest mistake that most people make is they do the hard part. They get the testimonial, and then you ask them, hey, well, what are you doing to promote them? Oh, they're on my website. And okay, well, what's your traffic strategy, your website? Oh, I don't have one. So if you have your testimonials on your website and they're just sitting in cyberspace and you're not driving traffic to it, Congrats on having the testimonial, but nobody's seeing that. So what I want to do is share a couple more creative ways to get your testimonials out in the marketplace. All right. And the first is obviously the website. You want to make sure that all your reviews are on your website. In addition to that, you want to include them in your blog content. So as you're writing your content, you can actually drop reviews in there of people and tell stories about how you've impacted people right there with your blog content. Okay. In your email signature, if you have a place, for example, in your website where you have all of your reviews, then definitely have something, a place that you're going to drive your traffic. Hey, listen to what other customers had to say. All right. But the big ones that are out there are really including your testimonials and your reviews in your social media posts. Right. And so there's a lot of different ways that you can do this. If you have a video, then you're going to simply upload the video, sharing, your testimonial. And you can do this on all your social media platforms, on your LinkedIn, on your Facebook, on YouTube channel, if you have it. But, if you have that video, you upload it up to the platform, it's written. Well, then what we can do is actually take a screenshot, for example. And we can screenshot either an email or a text. And then we can tag that person, if you have their permission, on a platform like LinkedIn, so that you can get more views and, again, establish more credibility with the testimony or review that you have. You can actually take and screenshot a review and go to a platform like Canva and actually design the actual testimonial. So you have your testimonial on the right, you have the person's name and title on the left, and you've got yourself a nice, pretty looking testimonial. So, but the key is being able to share your testimonials in the feed, because you get that many more views on your testimonials, right? Rather than getting them and them sitting in cyberspace, now we're sharing them. Now we're making noise in the marketplace. And I'm going to come back and share with you how I share them. So I know sometimes when we're sharing testimonials, we can come off and we feel maybe a little bit braggy. I know that's how I feel sometimes, especially being, me being the business owner and the brand. And I've got to sit here and tell people, what people think about Donnie. For me, for a while, it's definitely a little bit uncomfortable, but there's certainly ways that we can do that. And I'll share that here in a minute. One of the next things that you really should do anytime you get a review, again, think about this from a process standpoint, is it should be shared with your community through an email campaign. All right. So if you got an email list, one of the best ways to nurture that list is and continue to validate and continue to become relevant to that list is sharing your proof with that list and sending an email and turning that email or that testimonial almost into a case study, if you will, through email, sharing that story. But again, now I'm approaching my market. I'm not trying to sell them anything. I'm just sharing, success and sharing wins with the marketplace. The other places you'll want to include testimonials is in your trainings. So if anybody's doing free webinars, if you're doing any type of free training, if you have opportunities to do trainings or do seminars for companies right now, which would be huge. If you're not doing that, definitely pay attention to that. There's huge opportunities for virtual stuff right now to get your name out there. But when you're doing those, you want to share to validate, right? You want to share to validate what you have going on, right? And then the other way is like, as you're doing your content marketing, when you're doing your videos and when you're doing your content, like I said, with the blog resource, you can include the testimonial in there. So for example, if you head over my YouTube channel, you'll notice that when I record a video, I kind of hook you in with whatever the message is. And then what I'll usually say is like, oh, this is exactly how Jessica Shuttleworth and Katie Marriott were able to do blah, 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 blah. So it's like I'm validating what I'm sharing with the testimonial and with some proof, right? And so there's so many opportunities throughout your day to be able to share these testimonials in your social presence, no matter where you're at, okay? So those are kind of the basic ways that you can share. Again, we have website, we have our content that I just went over there, whether it's a video or a post or a blog, however you want to define that, you can share them in there, in your trainings, and any resource you have going out, in your email signature, social media posts, email campaigns, right? If you get the testimonial, make sure the world knows about it. Now, how do I do this without coming off as, oh, well, I don't want to just be a company that's bragging or an individual that's bragging? And where this has some opportunity is you're going to hero the client or the candidate, okay? Meaning that you make the testimonial about the story of them and how they've transformed or how their life was impacted, and take the story off of you. The people will be able to connect the dots. Okay. People will be able to connect the dots of how you have helped and how you're involved with that as you're sharing that. You don't need to say, hey, you know what, I'm the best thing since sliced bread. Go ahead and take a look down below. So if this makes sense to you below, just drop a little fire emoji or something down there. If this is really hitting home for you, if there's some value that you're getting, if there's some things that you think you can do with your testimonials and reviews just by watching this training, I would appreciate that. I'd love your feedback. So the hero journey is the big part about being able to do that. The other way that you can share without coming off braggy, so to speak, would be to tell a story around it. You know, tell a story around that person or that journey, or tell a story around, you know, what's going on in the world and how that's, you know, impacted how the work that this person's done or the review they have has been an impact around that story. And like I said before, you can use it as validation. Okay. Use it as validation in your content and in your other topics. But if you're going to validate a point, if you're trying to validate a part of your process, you can have somebody's testimonial be the thing that validates that mostly. Okay. So that is the big thing there, is if you can change it from being the hero and not you being the hero, and you're hearing the client or the candidate, you'll have a lot of success with that. So as you look, I'm going to share a couple things. So for me, like, I have a whole testimonial page on my YouTube channel. Okay. And so as I talk to prospects, and some of you have seen this, I will actually drop, you know, this whole link with my playlist of video testimonials right on here. Okay. And so this is one place that I have, but I also, it's not like I just sit, this doesn't just sit here. I drive traffic to this with almost anybody and everybody that I get on the phone with. All right. The other thing that I do is in my paid advertisements, as I'm retargeting people. So when somebody comes into the top of my funnel, a lot of you guys have seen that through my guides or my trainings or my roadmaps. Well, then I start to retarget as I'm trying to get people to book calls with me. Well, the biggest thing for people to book a call with me is the proof, to see that, you know, I am that I say what I am, right? So I take these videos, and you'll actually see these videos. Some of you may have already seen them with, you know, the Facebook ads that I run, okay, and any ad campaigns. The other thing is just kind of showing the example of heroing the other person. I'm truly humbled to be able to work with such kick-ass recruiters like Jessica. Jessica and I sat down last week, talked about her journey working in the restaurant industry to owning her own recruiting business with her close friend. I love being able to reflect on my students' journey, see where they come in just a short period of time. And you guys can, you know, see what's written here, but it's a written, you know, my little story, and then the video testimonial itself, right? So on the screenshot side of things, you can take a look, you know, with how I've shared this one. And this is the idea of me kind of sharing around a story or what's going on with the current situation in the market. Hey, there's been a lot of doom and gloom over the last 6 months. Things seem to be picking back up. And then I expand a little bit more on, you know, staying positive and that people are winning right now. Okay. So those are the things, different ways that you can do that. This is one I thought that was really good, done by a friend of mine, where she's actually talking about and sharing a story of somebody that really got use out of one of her resources. So if you want to drive traffic, let's say you have a free lead magnet, you have a free training, then you can actually drive traffic by using a testimonial about that resource or about that training. All right. So let me know if there's any questions. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. I'd love to help you guys out with anything we have going on. Adam, thank you for posting. Adam Conrad, Great Recruiters, is a great resource to be able to kind of develop that strategy around getting reviews and getting testimonials. So it's going to be huge when you have something like that. It doesn't even need to be as formal as that. It can be just using your LinkedIn recommendation. So the bottom line for where you're at, my call to action for you, is to find out how you want to gather these testimonials. What's the least path of resistance for you? So for example, if you're like, I'll never do a video testimonial, you're crazy, you're off your rocker, cool, then shelf it. Come back to that one later. Find a way to get the written reviews, right? But again, just to kind of recap the whole thing of what we went over here in this training, And it's very simple. We want to make sure if we want to get testimonials, we need to ask. We can ask by having that process and system in place to make sure that we can get those reviews coming to us over and over and over again. And then we can also, call our best clients, interview our best clients, email our best clients, and make sure that we're getting those testimonials that we have and go back to as many people as you possibly can. If your business is slow right now, which I know a lot of people are, and we're looking ways to maximize it, then this can be a great activity for you to be doing over these next couple of months to really build your presence moving forward. The other things we talked about was the types of testimonials. We talked about written testimonials, those being on, LinkedIn recommendations, or through a site like Great Recruiters, or just something that's coming through your email or text, screenshotting those things, sharing those things on social media, doing our video testimonials, doing video interviews, and then doing some voice stuff that's out there, right? So some of my testimonials are actually part of my podcast as well, right? And then the ways to share them, have them on your website, make sure they're on your email signature, run email campaigns once you get the testimonials, and make sure that they're all over your social media channels. And one of the things that I recommend too, that I didn't point out yet, is on your LinkedIn, you have the ability to do your featured section on your LinkedIn profile. Make sure that you have a couple of testimonials on your featured section. So somebody comes to your profile, they land, they see, boom, oh shoot, this person's pretty good. They've got great reviews, right? And incorporating links to pages like we have here with, my YouTube channel, right? And then making sure you're sharing them in your training, your resources, and any of the content that you're creating. And again, from the mindset standpoint, instead of you worrying about you becoming off braggy, making sure that you actually hero the other person in their journey makes it a heck of a lot easier for your testimonial to be received. So thank you everybody for joining. If you want to learn how we leverage testimonials and implement the relevant recruiter method and use these testimonials to get more leads, and you want some support and training and push to implement a system like that, feel free to reach out to me, Donnie Gupton, and send me a direct message or drop an in below, and I will reach out. Until next time, everyone have a great Wednesday.